Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to hop on here today and kind of discuss why your 20s should be the most difficult decade of your life. Now, I don't mean in the sense of like going through traumas and, dealing with hardships and blah, 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 blah. I'm saying in the sense of you need to just go balls to the fucking wall in your 20s. It needs to be the decade where you take the most amount of risks, where you make the most amount of sacrifices, and to where you just put yourself out there and just embrace the failure, embrace the struggle, embrace the things that you wanted to do the least. Now, it, a lot of people, they say enjoy your 20s. Your 20s is your prime. You have plenty of time to figure things out. But speaking from the perspective of a 26-year-old, man, the years are going by quicker and quicker and quicker, and it's a real phenomenon. The older you get, when you're younger, you've only lived the fewer years in the sense of when you're 10 years old, a year is a tenth of your life, versus when you're 25, now a year is only a 25th of your life, which is just an absolutely existential phenomenon to think about. I mean, it drives me crazy when you actually put that into, relative perspective. And it's true, it's true. And in your 20s is the best time to build these habits and start forming them, because it really is if you're paying attention and cognizant about what's going on around you as you age, your 20s is really the time where you notice things starting to speed up, and kind of sets that foundation of what to expect for the rest of your life. And I don't mean to say that in like a negative sense, like it's all downhill from here or anything. It's just more of like it's in my opinion the most crucial and I've only been alive 26 years, so I can't speak for anybody for any of the years that I haven't lived yet. But as a 26-year-old, it seems like it's the most crucial decade to build the habits that are going to set you up for the rest of your life. And I always tell myself, I always look at things from my personal perspective in the sense of I I'm not happy with the decisions that I made as a teenager, because I think I could be a lot further along in life if I made different decisions, in high school and growing up and everything. Not to get too deep into my personal backstory, but I didn't make the best decisions in high school and things like that. And I think it personally set me back a little bit. So the fact that I'm disappointed in my now 16, I used to say 15, but now my 16-year-old self from 10 years ago, I want my 36-year-old self to look back at me now and be proud of him and be thankful for the foundation that he set up to um, basically, you know, set himself up for the rest of his life. Um, and of course, you can do this at any age, at any decade. It really is never too late. But if you're in your 20s, if you're in your late teens, even if you're in your 30s, once again, it's never too late. But it really is the best time to start building your foundation. And I mean, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to be working your dream job at 26. You don't need to be stacking, hundreds of thousands of dollars, driving a nice car, even meeting the love of your life. All of that comes in time. But it's time to do the things that you don't want to do, so you don't have to do them later. Um, I work a very labor-intensive job. I work very long hours, but I still force myself at least 3 times a week to, after I, finish my job, I go and train martial arts for, at least an hour, 3 days a week, sometimes two. Um, I'm also working on my side hustles. I'm going to school. I'm trying to build a business. I'm, door dashing or doing odd jobs to get extra money when I can. and I'm also trying to stay organized. I'm trying to just form healthy habits. Oh, eating healthy, of course. Um, and I've made some progress in my 20s. I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. Investing, everything. And I do want to make a video at some point on how how specifically to lock in and to train yourself on how to um, force yourself to do things that you don't want to do, because you're your own worst enemy. You can be, and the idle mind is the devil's playground. It truly, truly is. I mean, you know, objects that are in motion stay in motion. Objects that are at rest stay at rest. So it's and the older you get, the harder it is to build those healthy habits. So sure, you can do it when you're older, but it's a lot harder to start working out and eating healthy and taking care of yourself in your 40s or your 30s if you spent all the time up until then not doing those things, because your brain is like a muscle. you know you have to train it, you have to nurture it, you have to do checks on yourself too. Um, do tap into your unconscious mind. There's different ways to do that through meditation and what was the other one? There's ways to do it through meditation, and there's certain psychologists and philosophers that can show you different strategies and exercises on how to do this. Um, and when you do train your body, it also trains your mind. Um, in a sense, because it teaches it discipline, it teaches it what is it, delayed gratification, um, and to form healthy habits. And coming from someone who formed a lot of unhealthy habits in the earlier years of my life, um, it helped me understand how the brain works and how you can train it and untrain it, um, to do the things you want to do. And your mind, the human mind, is the most powerful thing in the world. I mean, it's insane how much you can really do when you can regain control and not let your unhealthy desires control you. And it's hard in this society. I mean, the society promotes so many unhealthy things. I mean, we basically live in an addiction economy. I mean, what do you see promoted the most? Gambling, corn, um, doom scrolling on social media, drugs, alcohol, smoking. It's because it's very profitable for the people at the top to keep unhealthy food, to keep you in the toxic loop of always chasing that next dopamine hit, that instant gratification. Just boom, I want this, I want to feel good, I don't like feeling uncomfortable. But if you can get used to feeling uncomfortable and hone that in your 20s, bro, I'm telling you, you are going to be unstoppable. Now that doesn't mean you can't have fun, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself, do your thing and all that. But I think in the decade of your 20s, and this is just how I see things, I think that's the time where it should be put on the back burner, especially as a man, because people think, you're in your absolute peak in your early 20s, like, especially right now, you get called unk if you're older than like 22, which is absolute bullshit. You're in your athletic peak between, what is it, 25 to 35, something like that. So your true peak really doesn't hit until your late 20s, early 30s. So and it also, as a man, you become an appreciating asset the more that you get accomplishments under your belt, and the more knowledge you learn, and the more skills that you gain. It's literally like an investment. You invest into a stock, it goes up, and your your self importance is a stock that you need to invest into, and you need to get the most returns out of them that you possibly can. And of course, there's always a balance in life. You have to, you, you can't just push yourself to the absolute edge to where you're going to get burnt out. Be very weary of burnout when you start going down this path. But it, it, Socrates would talk about how it's a shame to grow old without experiencing your body's full strength. And I think that applies to the mind as well. We only have so much time on this earth, and our prime only lasts for so long. So save those pleasures, save that fun, save all of that until you've built your foundation of structure, and you've built your foundation of discipline and of hard work and of grind, because your future self will thank you. And of course, life is all about growing. You never want to stop growing, because once you stop, then you start decaying. But I think your 20s is a really special time to try to push yourself to those limits. Like I said, don't kill yourself, but it's the time to experiment. It's the experimental decade, and it's the time to show yourself what you're really capable of. So I just wanted to hop on here and kind of talk about that, give a little motivational speech. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you all wake up tomorrow and look yourself in the mirror and see the potential that you truly have deep down, because it's always there and it'll never go away. And once you believe in yourself and you have that foundation, anything is possible. The world's your oyster. So thanks for listening to me, guys. I hope you all have a great night. Y'all take care.